It's a pleasure now to be talking with Denise and Simone of Vertical Coffee Roasters. And you are in Switzerland. Well, which town are you in? You're in Zurich, sorry.
Well, we're actually in a small village just outside of Zurich. So it's really rather rural, about 1,000 people living here, and a coffee roastery and a bakery, not much more. But we're actually just about 20 minutes outside of Zurich, which is our main town.
Let's start by talking about the coffee in question. So I've got it in front of me, the Wibeti. We'll go on to talk more about you guys, but I just first want to jump straight in and talk about coffee number 1 in our taster set edition 2. It's an Ethiopian washed coffee. So tell us how you first discovered this coffee.
We always have a washed Ethiopian coffee in our portfolio, in our range, because we really love the elegant way this coffee comes around, especially brewed as a filter. So this one we sourced through our green coffee partners in Belgium, Cuprima Coffee. And yeah, we just fell in love with its taste because it's so clean and clear, and it's exactly what we look for in a washed Ethiopian. Like, yeah, you have this really strong floral aromas in the nose, some bergamot. Like, to me, it's really like a, what's it called? The an Earl Grey tea. When you smell it in the nose. And then when you brew it, you have these apricots, juicy, sweet. Backward, you have, in the finish, you have the black tea aromas. It's a really beautiful coffee. So,
I think it's got everything that I love in an Ethiopian coffee. Like you say, it's got the tea likeness. It's got also floral notes. It's got stone fruit. It just perfectly exhibits what I love about the Ethiopian coffees. And it's also what I love about your coffees. I mean, how long have you guys been into specialty coffee, light roasted coffee? Was this a sort of long journey or a more recent thing?
I think when we started with the roasting, with coffee, it wasn't about specialty, because it was more about the whole lifestyle around coffee. Like, we came from a sporting background, and there the coffee scene was pretty strong, like having a coffee as energizer before the workout, or then after workout just as a treat yourself to some coffee and cake. But it was never about, or not really about, the taste and the quality of the coffee. It was more the lifestyle, the social thing. And then, but that was back before 2010. So the whole concept of specialty coffee didn't exist, at least not in Switzerland. Some areas of the world, it was around, but not here. We didn't know about it when we started out with coffee. And when we started roasting, it was pretty old school. We learned from an old roaster who let us use his old UG22 Probot roaster. And it was very simple. Just drop in the beans, then keep on, like, turn on the heat and just keep going. You have first crack, and then keep going, and then you have second crack, and then you wait another 20 seconds, and then you drop the beans. So that's how we learned to roast. But through getting in this whole coffee scene, we liked the whole coffee world when we started roasting.
I think you had a different name.
Yeah, it was a Gipfelstürmer Kaffee. Gipfel means like a peak of a mountain, and Stürm is like, it's a peak performer, or someone who goes up a mountain very fast.
Awesome.
And so actually the idea behind it was like, go outside, go climb a mountain, enjoy the outdoors. So we actually always had this kind of outdoorsy theme, and we always wanted to connect these two things. So being outside, having the energy through the coffee, drinking a coffee on a mountain. But then we found out that it's really hard for anyone to pronounce it and to remember it, anyone who doesn't speak German natively. Right. Which is actually in Switzerland, where we have the French speaking and Italian speaking and the Romansh speaking parts. So yeah, they won't be able to understand it. So that's why we rebranded to vertical.
And I love the rebranding. I think it's very, very clever, because not only the name, the design with your Swiss flag and the T.
When we decided to rebrand, we thought it had to be someone who understood the concept of specialty coffee, who understood the scene, the coffee, but also had like a wider view, and someone who was who saw the fun in the coffee, who was as or more enthusiastic about coffee than we are. And so we actually had met Ingrid from Coffee Kotze, and she with her brother Harald and the illustrator Lars Huse, who did all the illustrations. They had like a small graphic design agency. They closed in the meantime, sadly. Lars is still doing the illustrations, so whenever we have new coffees, we have him do all the illustrations. But we actually gave Ingrid all our information we had, what we wanted to keep from our old brand. We wanted to keep the color. We always had the blue as the blue sky and the blue lakes. But we said, this is our passion. Go ahead and do something with it, kind of. And when it came back, at the beginning, we were like, wow, this is really different than anything which we knew in specialty coffee. Everything was kind of very serious, very minimalistic. And yeah, her designs, it was just like so much full of life. And so we really embraced it, and we love it and live it,
And a great motto as well. Coffee with altitude is just really clever. That's brilliant. Tell us more about your kind of the philosophy of vertical today.
Our approach is like coffee should be fun. It should be fun, approachable, accessible, and not too complicated. So what we look for is to have really clear flavor profiles that are also easy to access, and that's how we roast them as well. So we want to roast the coffees so you can really taste the different flavor profiles. So if you'd brew two different coffees next to each other, you really can taste the difference and don't have any flavors covering it up. So we really want the aromas and the flavors to stand out. Yeah.
We'll just talk about your favorite way to brew the coffee and why.
Yes, before, we really love the AeroPress. So that's our, pretty much, all our filter coffees, we love to brew them in the AeroPress. And we have a pretty basic recipe. When we do have, like when we are at home or at a roastery, when we do have scale and everything, which is just the inverted method. I think it's much more easier to brew a consistent brew with the inverted method. Full immersion, obviously, using 12 grams of ground coffee, so medium grind size, and making a bloom with double the amount of water, like 25 grams of water. Use water just off the boil, so hot enough to get all the flavors out. Stir 5 times. Or 6, whatever. Doesn't matter which direction. And then let it bloom for 30 seconds. Top it up to 200 grams of water. And stir again. And then let it immerse for 2 minutes. And turn it around, press down to around 230. So really simple, very basic. Yeah, that's how we do it when we have a scale, and otherwise we just have like inside a small hand grinder, we have marked the level where it's about 12 grams. So we just do it kind of, like this, exactly.
Good tip for people to put a mark on their grinder. So that's useful. If you could have a cupping session with any 3 people, famous or not famous, who would they be?
I think we just pick 3 random people from the street, people who don't or are not necessarily into specialty coffee, and show them what a world coffee can be. Because for many people, coffee is just coffee, but yeah, we know that's not the way it is. It's much bigger, and it's usually an eye-opener for people. So I think yeah, that's really something fun to do. Can we show you the bean shop?
Please.
Yeah, let's go to the bean shop.
To the bean shop.
Go to the bean shop with you. Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay. So this is outside of our roastery, and because we're not always at the roastery, and people are usually asking us, yeah, where can I get your coffee? Can I buy the coffee directly from the roastery? We have this box outside, and you can open the box, and there's coffee beans inside. And so you just pay by twint. It's
There's even a tote bag.
so, yeah, it's for people who don't have a bag with them. So when they buy lots of coffee, they can.
It's a musette, so where the cyclists get their food when they're in the big tours, you know.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people when the weather is nice, they come by with their bikes to get coffee.
Brilliant.
So it's pretty handy for them. They can get a musette and just fill it with beans and then ride home.
It's so clever. It reminds me of those little boxes with the books in them. Brilliant idea. Whose idea was that?
We actually came up with the idea together. We were looking for a solution to have a shop outside for people to to get our coffee without us being here. And there are many like farms in our surroundings, and they usually have like a small shop where you can buy eggs and honey and stuff like that. And they have the simple, similar way to pay. So you pay by the app. There's an app, a QR code, which you can scan, and you just give the amount inside and then pay via the app.
That's such a brilliant idea. It's so cute. I mean, is this a very Swiss thing?
I don't know if you have it in other countries, but like in here in the Swiss countryside, you see it a lot. So you have like the possibility to buy stuff directly from the producer. So like, yeah, usually it's farms, or sometimes also like flowers. There's like fields of flowers, and you can go and cut them. You can cut them, and then you just pay the amount of flowers which you've bought.
It's based absolutely on honesty and trust. So if someone takes out and just doesn't pay, okay,
coffee will taste bad.
Yeah,
coffee tastes bad.
Yeah. That's a really great idea. Thank you for that. And thank you for the great interview, guys. And keep up the great work. Brilliant coffee.
Thanks.
Bye.
Cheers.